gentlemen, I am the Victorian Cowboy, and welcome to the book club. Today we're talking about Chapter 2 in A Time of Contempt. This is the second novel in the Witcher series, written by Andrzej Sapkowski. In this novel, we have Ciri and Geralt, a little older. Ciri's no longer at the Temple of Melittle, and things are getting interesting. So, this is Chapter 2. Geralt and Yennefer get reunited at the end of it, but it begins with Yennefer and Ciri coming into Gorsvelen and seeing the decaying corpses of the Scoia'tael at the crossroads. And that kind of sets a tone and shows Yennefer's disgust for war and for violence and for the barbaric practices. I mean, that is extraordinarily barbaric, and as we, complain about how others treat each other and then you could turn around and do it, it's scare tactics. It's meant to make people fear the armies and not rise against them. So that's how the scene starts, and then we get into Gorsvelen. We get to see a little bit of the magic, so Yennefer puts on a cream to draw the attention to her and away from Ciri, which Ciri gets, being a 13-year-old girl, upset with because she wants to feel beautiful and like she's worthwhile. And the whole point of it is nobody should know Ciri exists, but she doesn't quite understand that. But we get to see them at the at the bank. And we get to hear about how Geralt is in town, but not he's not really in town, I guess, but he's nearby working for, pennies on the dollar. And of course that piques Ciri's interest too. Ciri has just found out she's going to be left at a school for novices to learn magic, and she's a little peeved about that because nobody, again, asked her permission, which is all too real, that people feel like people of that middle school age really want to be asked their opinion and don't realize that their opinion or what they want isn't necessarily always in the best interest of their well-being. And I say that, it sounds weird, it sounds mean, it's not. It's just the people with more life experience who are trying to help you tend to have your best interests at heart. Plus, this would have given Ciri the opportunity to learn. But anyway, while Yennefer and the dwarf banker are talking business, Ciri ends up having the opportunity to go explore the town. She gets to taste all these foods that she's never had before and see some things. And ultimately, it ends in one, they do get to see the island with the wizards and sorceresses, their home from the mainland. And then we find out there's a tower on there called the Tower of Goals, which, because of the title of future books, that's going to come into play later on. But that's just the only reason I know. Well, even if I didn't know the title of the other books, just the fact that they spend a lot of time talking about the Tower of Goals and its imposing nature and the sense of dread Ciri gets, it would be worthwhile foreshadowing for that. Ciri also ends up prophesying a little bit with, what's his name? I have his name written down here, give me 1 second. Fabio Socks. And she actually sees essentially his entire life and how he's going to be an adventurer and die in a faraway land and all of that. But eventually they get to a carnival sideshow attraction that's supposed to be a basilisk, which is supposed to be extremely deadly. And of course Ciri, being the know-it-all who knows everything, calls it for what it is. It's a wyvern. And in turn, her actions cause the wyvern to become enraged and get out. And she, of course, beats the knight to the draw, kills the wyvern, but gives the credit to the knight because she doesn't want to be noticed. And she realizes she messed up royally. And ultimately, when she's getting away, she ends up using magic and getting caught by a couple of the sorceresses from the school, who in turn find Yennefer. Excuse me. which leads to Ciri still doesn't get found out about that. It's only found out that she got caught using magic, and that she's going to be going to the school. And while they're at this inn, which has a bathhouse feature, of course there's a message that comes in from special soldiers who are the ones responsible for essentially instilling terror and probably causing more monsters to come around, because certain things like necrophages and ghouls and whatnot that feast on the decaying flesh of humanoids, so even if they're non-humans, they'd get flesh like feasted upon, so elves, dwarves, things like that. It's just going to cause plague, it's going to cause chaos, and of course Yennefer is disgusted by the actions. But it gives Ciri the chance to find a way out of the city, because she wants to go find Geralt. And in the process of trying to get to Geralt, where she is convinced she never loses her way because of her gift, even though she feels like she's lost her way, she ends up getting chased by the Wild Hunt, which usually are specters up in the sky who have come down because they want her, and they are hunting her now. And of course, Yennefer finds her, Geralt finds her, and Dandelion is there as well. And I like seeing things from Dandelion's perspective because, one, I just find his cockiness kind of amusing, because he's cocky and all that, but at the same time he's also cowardly, because he recognizes he can't fight like that, and so he's amusing to me. And he could tell that, Ciri fakes fainting so that she doesn't have to run to Yennefer or Geralt and upset one of them. And Ciri knows that Yennefer probably knows she faked it, but she doesn't think Geralt knows. And I think that might be debatable, but I think my favorite part of this chapter was really when Ciri was trying to eavesdrop on Geralt and Yennefer out in the orchard, and she can't hear anything and gets surprised by Dandelion sneaking up on her. And Dandelion explains to her, "Oh, well, tell me what they're doing. I can tell you what they're saying." And so she talks about what Geralt's doing, and Dandelion's like, "Oh, he's apologizing. He's apologizing for this and saying he's sorry for that and the other thing." And Ciri's like, BS. There's no way that he's apologizing for that and anything. And then when it comes to Yennefer's turn to talk, and she's yelling at Geralt, and she's like, so Ciri's like, what's Yennefer doing? And Dandelion's like, oh, well, she's apologizing too. And just that like subtle humor of like Dandelion, kind of the nature of man versus woman in a situation like this. I thought that was really amusing and really a fun way to end the scene. I'm sure Yennefer is going to be upset with Ciri, and I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen with that. Excuse me. Yennefer definitely knows Ciri. Like, Ciri knows she's in trouble because she went against Yennefer. And while I can understand her desire to see Geralt, and the fact that Ciri has brought Geralt and Yennefer together again, who haven't actually seen each other in person in many years and have been corresponding via letters, I think it may help the two of them. But Ciri's definitely going to not be happy with the results of her actions. I'm also curious to see how Yennefer responds to the conclave of wizards that's coming up, and the idea that war is definitely no longer a distant thought and a distant memory, and how it's actually going to be coming in and causing some havoc in the world. So those are my thoughts. I thought it was a fun chapter. I liked getting to see Gor's Velen. I liked getting to see the town and getting to see some of these side characters do things. So even though we know Fabio probably won't play a pivotal role in anything else, it was kind of fun to see how he and Ciri interacted, and just the idea of this town and this new area was more intriguing to me than the scenes with Ciri at Melithal's temple. I think there was just more going on, more of this world building, and it was just more intriguing, and in the sense of what the characters were doing and saying made sense, but also they actually had an active way to do it, whereas Chapter 7 of The Blood of Elves, where it was the flashback of her training with Yennefer, wasn't as engaging because, one, we knew it was a flashback, so we knew where it ended, and two, well, interesting to see how magic is being built in this world and how that's really important for me, because if you don't do magic right, there are definitely some issues with your storytelling if magic gets, mislabeled or misused. And for the record, I'm working on making just a standalone video about the use of magic in storytelling and what works, what doesn't, what needs to happen. I'm trying to write a script for that now, but look into that, because I'll be talking about the magic in The Witcher as a good example of how building that world works. But I just feel like being in the town and having a little more potential for things to go wrong, for conflicts to arise, and then for the characters to grow in a way that wasn't just Ciri being a sniveling brat and having problems, was definitely a welcome change. So please leave a comment, let us know what your thoughts are, let us know what you're thinking, join the conversation. I really enjoy reading your comments and responding and having that discussion. It makes this all worthwhile. Excuse me. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, please give us a like and subscribe to keep up to date with new videos. I at least get one new book club video out a week. That's my goal. We've got like 5 more chapters in this book, and then we'll be I'll have to go find the next one in the series. But yeah, I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to seeing you again next week, and please have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our video. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought, and as always, have a good one.